green lineup from the private blend line of Tom Ford really intrigued me. It was actually released with not much fanfare, especially in the YouTube realm. It really didn't get any hype trains, honestly. And when Tom Ford releases a lineup like this, several fragrances in a line, usually you're going to have one gem at least. You might have two. Usually doesn't release a whole bunch of flops. So I'm really intrigued by this green lineup. Obviously, I have one of these that's the incense-based one that I really wanted to get my nose on. So I got a sample of it from somebody that I purchased a Tom Ford from. I believe I purchased Effin' Fabulous, and I got these samples. It feels like this line will kind of come and go without blinking an eye. So I just wanted to see before these things get axed, which I feel like they will. I wanted to see what some of these can do on my skin before they leave the market. Should I purchase them? My thoughts on this one coming up next. Fragrance family, welcome to Taking a Test Drive. This is where I test drive a scent prior to purchasing or forgetting about it. I wear the particular scent for 1 to 2 wearings, depending on how big the sample is. This one actually from someone on Facebook. I bought their bottle of Effin' Fabulous, brand new bottle, but I got a whole bunch of samples too, and they gave me enough for almost like 3 wearings. I still have some in this sample here. I'm actually wearing it as my scent of the day today, and I'm going to let you know my thoughts on my YouTube channel on this particular scent. Today, as the title suggests, I'm taking a test drive on Vert Essence by the house of Tom Ford. So that is, of course, translated to green incense. So really one of those, there's 1 or 2 of these that I really wanted to smell, and this is one of them. So I can't wait to let you know my thoughts on this one. But before we get into that, let's take a look under the hood for some stats on this one. Release date was 2016, concentrations eau de parfum. Noses behind this one, we have 3 noses. Most of the time that's a bad thing. You shouldn't really have too many noses working on one particular fragrance. So we have Antoine Maison-Dieu, which is an all-star perfumier, some great releases. Shyamala Maison-Dieu also, and Yann Vassier. Major notes to my nose, one of the good things is there is some incense in here and it will hit you. There's also pine in here, very interesting. I love the use of pine in fragrances, and heliotrope, and lots of that. So here are my thoughts on Vert Essence. I am wearing it as my scent of the day. I have the dry down here, but I do still have some juice left, so I am going to spray my hand. I'll give you guys a spray to remind me of the opening. And the opening of Vert Essence really does say what the name says. She's green and we're getting some smoke from the incense. So the opening of Vert Essence does not disappoint. As far as this being a green series, it does not disappoint in the green aspect of the fragrance. I get a fresh green pine up top. All by itself, you're gonna get that heliotrope. Sometimes, like right now, I get lots of heliotrope with the pine. Other times it's just really pine and incense, and the heliotrope is more in the background, and then it engulfs me. But this wearing right now, lots of green pine, very nicely done, by the way. But you got that heliotrope that is coming through. But also there is a smoky incense in the background on this one, and it plays so well with the pine. Incense and pine does work very well. You are met with a melange of green woody pine with the smoky incense that shares the spotlight in this opening, and honestly it's simply wonderful. It's exactly what it states on the sticker here. That's what I want to get from a Vert Essence type of fragrance. It has a little bit of a balsamic quality to the scent up top that will run throughout the scent a little bit. But the one thing with this scent is the heliotrope was like, wait a minute, you're saying green and you're saying incense, what about me? Because the heliotrope is big and bold in this fragrance. It makes its presence felt a lot of times more in the back end, the dry down of this fragrance, more than the introduction. But today, for some reason, I can feel the heliotrope with the smoky and the pine. So it's a really nice three-headed monster, is that I would call it. Really nice. I really obviously like more the greenery, the pine, and the incense than the heliotrope. But we'll go with that. Heliotrope runs throughout the scent, and it won't stop throughout the end of it. Now, once I hit more of the dry down, the heliotrope continues to push with the woods. The incense take more of a back seat here. You're going to tell that the incense gives you a little bit of a hit up top, but it really is mellowed out. It really isn't that smoky. And a lot of reviewers say that there's a lot of smoke out of this one. In the dry down, it's a lot of heliotrope, to be quite honest. So, but there is that woods and incense that, again, a three-headed monster. I would say the woods are primary in the introduction, with the incense being secondary and the heliotrope being third. And then in the dry down, the heliotrope jumps up to be the primary, and the woods and the incense kind of push back as second and third tier. There's some sweetness in here, of course, vanilla, almond-like, talky, powdery, a type of aspect, and that's of course from the heliotrope. So if you feel that there's sweetness in this fragrance, it's that. If you feel like there's a vanilla-like feeling or an almond-like feeling, it's a heliotrope. If you feel like a powdery feeling in this fragrance too, heliotrope. Really a multifaceted note, a very interesting note, heliotrope, and it does its thing here. You lose really the green aspect, at least I did on my skin, more into the dry down. I really didn't feel like this was a green scent. It was up top, but it lost it with the heliotrope just being the primary in more into the dry down here. Less green, more of a woody heliotrope-like scent. Less incense, definitely more woods and heliotrope. However, a good blend. It's a three-headed monster. There's not much going on. With a lot of Tom Ford private blends, you're going to kind of notice that theme that either A, they don't move much from A to Z, but however, they use some primary notes that do very well. And from what I gather from this one, I'm really on the fence on this one. I don't know if I want it. I feel like the heliotrope is a little too much for me, but like I'm getting some whiffs of some smoke today out of this one, more than I did with my previous testing. In my notes, I really wrote that's more a heliotrope than smoke, but I'm getting some whiffs of smoke here. I still got a little bit left, so I'm going to test it some more. It's definitely on the perhaps I'm going to buy list. So let's get into the Revolver. Now getting into the Revolver, we're going to talk about performance, versatility, seasons, things like that. So let's start it off with seasons. So this one, I feel like with, of course, the heavy heliotrope in here, I feel like this can be, it's not very, it feels like it's thick, but it really isn't that thick. I can wear this for spring. It's perfect for rainy days like spring, fall, summer nights. It would be really good. It just reminds me a little bit of camping. I really think the versatility is really good on this one. I could even wear this during the winter. I don't see any reason that it just wouldn't work really in the high heat. That's the one thing, that powderiness of the heliotrope, of course the woods and the pine and the incense may not work in the high heat. But other than that, I think this is almost all season, so versatility is pretty high. A day or night, I would really wear this more as a daily wear, but I can see it also at nighttime. A summer night would be perfect for that. Versatility, I'm going to say mid to high tier. It all depends where you live. Like here in Canada, this will get a lot more wear than someone in Florida will say. So, we got the rainy seasons, we got snow, and we got more cold weather than warm weather. So it actually would work a lot better than that in that weather. Performance. As far as the performance go, not beast mode. I really feel like this is just normal private blend performance. It lasted 6 to 9 hours. Average projection. Performance is good, but not great. Really has, that's where the private blends are kind of going. They used to be very much beast, Amber Absolute, Tuscan Leather, Tobacco Vanille. They really did push. These newer releases from Tom Ford just feel like they're just same as the pack, 6 to 9 hours, average to high projection. So that's where it is in performance. So my final thoughts on Vert d'Encens by Tom Ford was I was either going to like the incense or the woods in here from the green series. So I want to try the wood one. And of course I wanted to try the incense one. So now that I tried the incense one, I like it, but I'm not in love with it. I'm really on that spectrum right now with this one. I love the opening way more than the dry down, to be honest. I'm a fan of the heliotrope, but I would like more bulk in my dry down on this one. I feel like the smoke, more woods, keep the heliotrope as the third tier note in this one, and I think you would have a winner with my taste. I won't rush to get this one, obviously, but it's on the list to purchase eventually. It's going to be one of those that's probably going to get axed, and then I'm going to be like, oh, should I, shouldn't I? And then I'm just going to go, yeah, probably should, before it gets scarce, and then it's going to be $400 or $500 on eBay. So if I had to give it a score today, I was really just kind of going, is it going to be an 8, a 7? It's around that. It's not a 9 or a 10 to me. I'm going to give it a 7 bottles out of 10. I really think it's a solid release from the House of Tom Ford. I really think this green series was overlooked by a lot of people, and I'm very lucky. So thank you to that person on Facebook that sold me their effing fabulous and gave me these samples. Highly appreciate it, so I can actually test them out before blind buying some of these. So thank you so much. If you have smelt this fragrance right here, Vert d'Essence, please comment below. Let us know, good, bad, or the ugly on this one. Is this your favorite from the Tom Ford Private Blend? Is it the worst one? I'd love to hear your take. If you enjoyed this content, please hit the like button. I certainly appreciate it. Subscribe if you haven't. And that bell is waiting to be rung. Are you part of my notification gang yet? Hey, if you haven't had enough of me, you can find this mug on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. I'm very active on Facebook and Instagram. Twitter, not so much. But you can definitely follow me on those platforms. I do post things like my scent of the day, things I'm working on, things like that. I also have a Facebook group. It's called Fragrance Guru Nation. And this is where 16,500 other members, scent heads, discuss fragrances, reviewers. We talk about new releases. People buy, sell, all that kind of good stuff. So if you're a scent head and you are subscribed to me and you have a Facebook account, join us today. Now, I'm going to leave you with a few takes on my social media. So I did ask everybody on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook what they thought about this one. So you're going to have different takes than just my own at the end of this video. As always, a great or poor fragrance will make a lasting impression. Choose your green, woody, heliotrope type fragrance wisely. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one.